Hello and welcome to the C-SPAN Review Daily Breakdown. This is June 8th, 2026, and we are going to go ahead and start this. All right, here we go. The calls today. Boom, boom. Need some music or something, right? This is the call breakdown. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, former military were the categories today. You can see the center columns there. That is the actual calls. These negative and positive figures on the right are the all side scores, the reviewed episode scores that we attach to it. So we'll go ahead and click through those, which brings us to a -2. Now you'll see at the bottom the former military -1.5 and then a plus 0.5. I go through there and make all the independents either lean right or left, depending on what they say. Otherwise, it would kind of be a pretty boring because they have a lot of independents. But a lot of independents that sneak in on that line are Democrats, and then there's a few Republicans. So, very rarely do we get an independent that will play right down the middle. All right, now our sources today in the source breakdown. We had 2 from print, 4 network, 1 social, 1 individual, which would be a politician. I believe it's Mark Warner today, and then 4 online platforms. Sources used today by C-SPAN. You can see all the ones on the left there. We have Meet the Press, which was used twice, and we count them twice. We don't. Now, there's True Social right there. I didn't change that slide, but we actually assigned a +4 value to True Social, just like you would have if Blue Sky would be a -4. So Fox News is +3.2. I know these numbers maybe sound wonky, but hopefully it'll make sense over time. All right, so we'll just go ahead and cycle through all that. And there's our reviewed episode score. So we calculated from the calls and sources used during the episodes. We get them from All Sides Media, which is a website. You can go there and check my figures. The final score is then attached to the host, so it's like a batting average for the host. So this is not the payoff is not here in the one. It's over time. So if hopefully we're watching 100 episodes from now, these scores will really start telling a whole different story. And here's today's reviewed episode score. We had -2 because these things are weighted numerically. So if C-SPAN would get more Republicans getting through, this score would change. If they used more center or right-leaning sources, this score would change. And I'm just pointing out that all their sources, and it's just not my word, I'm using numbers, and I'm trying to use some sort of scientific method to prove this instead of me just alleging it. And you'll see here at the bottom, the classification it's to the left. It's heavily weighted to the left. And you'll see Taylor Popolars was the host today, and he's so this actually that should be 11.36. The final reviewed episode score attaches to the host, and over time that becomes like a batting average. So if Taylor's shows are lean left every single time, well, guess what? He's putting, or C-SPAN or the producers are dragging this thing to the left and not showing the unbiased side that they are claiming. So now we get to the big map. Sorry. I'm struggling here. Struggling. All right. I'm going to moving all over the place. Okay, now we're going to go over to the big map. And there it is. This is the big map daily. We're going to see what today brought to us, huh? You can see here's the call layouts. We had 12 locations, 10 different states hit. California way over here. Dade City. Okay, and the green are military. So that's the daily. Now let's go to the total. Let's go to the big map totals. This is all of the calls that we've reviewed in the last 2 episodes. So I'm trying to string these things together day after day after day after day. It's been the goal the whole time here. So if you made it this far and you're watching and you're subscribed, I really appreciate it. Make sure you like. If there's something you see on here you like, comment below. If there's something I can work on, let me know. I'm sure I get haters, so, but there we go. Look at here. We got all these calls. They're breaking out. The yellow are independent callers. The red are Republicans. The blue are Democrats. So, and we're going to get better with more information over time. So, I really appreciate everyone that's watching and following along, and hopefully this makes sense. But this all began as a project many years ago, and me just yelling at the TV. So we brought it to this far, and I really just appreciate everybody's support. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow.